we're going to take a look at the top shaft and see which way the parts actually go. So, starting from the small end, which is actually the back end, after taking the bearing off the end of the shaft, this will go in first. It's for the reverse shifter. Slides over here, and then this gear goes in front of that, like that. Now, we're fixing to pull this gear off, and this goes towards that collar right there. And this is the housing for the clutches. And this is the gear that's gonna stay on. That's where the centerpiece rides on. So inside here, you have these sets of clutch plates, just like that. And this will be in the center, which will ride right on top of here. And then this is the other half of the clutch housing right here, with the clutches are inside of it. They're all inside. And it'll go this way, and it'll ride on this gear right here to put it in drive, forward, low range, just like that. Okay, we have to take the snap ring out, which is in there. See if you can see it. There it is in there, to be able to get this gear off. Now we have a pair of snap ring pliers, two pair, come from Amazon, but they have a little nub on them, and that will not fit in here, if you can see that. So we're gonna have to modify them, cut that little nub off the end so it will fit inside of here to get to that snap ring. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and then I'm gonna take it off, and I'll let you know how it comes out. Okay, here is the top shaft out of the Syncro range John Deere 4230. I'm gonna go over it, we're gonna inspect it, and I'm gonna show you what I'm replacing. And pretty much the shaft is all the way down to nothing. Everything is off, and that's another fun project, is getting everything off the shaft. I had to go to my buddy Lee's house, and he has a press with a 20-ton hydraulic jack, and I had to use it. Now, I do have this kit over here. I'll send you a link to it. Has this one out of this kit that I use, the bearing, this here. I use this. That was a big help. I was able to clamp it on the bearing, the gears, put it in the press like this, and press the gear off. So that was helpful. Those are not expensive. They're 30 bucks a kit like this. Okay, so we got that all done, and now we're gonna go over it. I'm gonna show you a little bit. Here are a pair of snap ring pliers that I purchased from Amazon. I can send you a link to that, or a picture of it, and you can go ahead and get you a set. Even though I did end up modifying them to be able to take out some of these snap rings on here, and like on this one, I cut a little groove in it right here to make it fit underneath to get it in a gear. Let me see what gear that one was on. On this particular gear here, the snap ring was here, and I cut the groove. I was able to get underneath here to open up that snap ring to get it out like this. This one I modified for another one where I've narrowed it right here where I could get in this way, and made them work. I'm going to show you how this all goes. We can inspect it, which I already did. In fact, I already ordered all the new parts. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to take the camera down and get a closer look at everything and show you what we did. Okay, one more thing I want to mention about pressing all the gears and bearings off the shaft here is you want to protect the end of these shafts when pressing them off. So what you can do is use a deep well 1-inch socket. It fits over the end right here. It is the same length as this right here. You're pushing the bearings off, and you can use it for that end. And that's after you get the small end bearing off, because this one will be on the end here. On the other end, this is a 3/4 inch. You can put it inside here. There's a race in there. It'll fit inside of there. So that'll help protect your shaft while you're disassembling it in the hydraulic press. Wanted to mention, how did I get the end bearings off? In order to be able to get the end bearing off, which went on here, I have a Dremel, and I cut the cage that holds all the bearings on. And after I got it off, I was able to grab onto here and move it a little bit, heat it up, a little propane bottle charge, and then grab it in the back right here with that other thing to pull that one off. Same thing with the opposite end, which is the front end bearing, which goes on this end. Now, this bearing, I couldn't get off with my puller. The only way I could get it off is with the 20-ton hydraulic jack. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at everything and see what we're replacing. This is the top shaft. I'm over at home, at my house in the garage, and I just wanted to show you what I did to clean it up a little bit. I shined it up. I just wanted to make sure that there's no imperfections on the top shaft, no burrs or anything from pressing off the old gears or score marks or anything. So when I go to put in all the new gears back on it, I want to make sure that everything's going to go ahead smoothly. So this is how I did mine. I have a tool which is called a work sharp knife sharpener, and this is it here, and it uses a belt which is 3/4 inch wide. So basically I didn't use the tool, but I used the belts. The belts are right here, and you can buy these belts on Amazon. I used 1000 grit and 2500 grit, and you can follow it up even with a 5000 grit if you want. Of course, you don't want to take off much metal at all. You just basically want to polish the surface, get any imperfections off. And this is what the belts look like right here. They're 3/4 inch wide. And this is what you do if you do decide to do this. You turn them inside out like this, so it's inside out. Now where the belts are joined with a piece of tape, you want to kind of crimp it like this and make it so it's rounded, so it will go around smoothly. Then we're going to come over here, we're going to use the drill press. So come over to the drill press right here. We're going to get it all ready. And this belt, we ran it right around here in this area right here on the shaft. Now we take the belt and we'll just put it on right here, and we'll show you how. This is 2500 grit, and I'm just going to run it just a little bit to show you how it works. And you turn it evenly to make everything come out evenly. So here we go. That's it, and that's how it comes out, all looking really good, ready for our reassemble me to start pressing all the bearings back on it. Today we have finally received all the parts needed to rebuild the top shaft of the transmission. All the gears, the clutches, and I'm going to show all that to you now. One thing first, I need to mention, if you're going to be ordering parts for your project, there are 2 Syncro range transmissions and 2 of the quad range. So you have to make sure which one you're ordering parts for. And I'll show you that in the book now, and how to distinguish which ones you have. So let's walk on over to the book and come over to the book. I have it laid out over here. Now, if you notice up here at the top, there is a serial number. Tractors with this serial number, Syncro range transmission. And this is how you can tell the difference. It's by how many synchronized clutch discs you have in your tractor. And if you look over here, there's all the gears in the top shaft. And on this side over here, you'll see the clutches and everything. And there's four clutches. And on this side, there's actually 4 also. Now, we're going to flip the page. Come over to this side up here. And this is for tractors with serial numbers above this one. You see the little minus after the numbers. Now we're going to come over here and look at it. And you're going to see right here, it's different. Instead of 3 clutches here and 3 here, there are 4 here, 2 here. That's the difference. That's one of the difference anyway. And inside, these clutches are actually built different. Okay, look over here. See this ridges on the inside of these plates here? Yeah, those on the inside. Well, the other tractor, they're not like that. Let's see if we can find them again. There they are. See on the inside right here? They don't have them. They're actually clipped on the outside in the collar. So you have to make sure that you have the right one that you're ordering parts for. Even the parts man, when you go to get parts for your tractor, he can make a mistake. Don't let that happen. All right, we're going to look over here and have everything all laid out, and I'm going to go over all of that with you. I'm going to explain everything. And you need to know what all this stuff is if you're rebuilding your tractor. And it's not hard. I'm going to explain it. And I've never done this before, and I figured it out. So if I figured it out, you can figure it out. Okay, so let me turn this off a second. I'm going to take the camera down, and I'm going to sit down, and we're going to go over each gear, and I'm going to explain them. Then we're going to inspect them, and I'm going to tell you why I'm throwing them in the trash. Here we go. Okay, first thing right here, look at this big picture right here. I took the manual, put it on my printer scanner at home, and I blew it up. And I made my own template right here. So you can actually see everything, how it goes, and in the order it goes in. Now, we're going to look at the parts. All right, we got 2 rows of parts right here. The back row, back here, these are all used parts. This front row is all new parts. And we are replacing these parts with new parts, except for 3 right here. And we'll get to that and we'll go over those and I'll show you why we're not. So let's take a look at this and see what in the heck all of this stuff is, okay? All right, right up here in the front, there's a gear. That is this gear right here. That is called reverse range collar. That is your reverse gear. This is a reverse collar for the range shifter. This gear right here in the middle, which is number 7, that is the collar reverse drive gear. So these three pieces is your reverse, right? And then you have this, which is your low range, and this is your high range gear. Low gears, high gears, that's what they are. So right here, this one is called, that is right here, number 9. Oh, number 9, pinion, low range gear. Got it. The next thing is right here, number 10. That is a drum. This is your drum. Okay. Then you have the clutches. They're down in here. Pull them out. There they are. That's these clutches right there. Okay. Now, we're going to skip on over this right here and come to the other side, and it's the same thing. See number 11 right here? That's the disc, and there's your drum. The same thing. This in the middle right here, okay? Right here. All right, this thing right here and this one right here go together. This one right here is the collar. It's the high-low range synchronizer. The collar, high-low range synchronizer. And we're going to explain to this one in a minute. And over here, it's called the blocker. Okay, so where is the blocker? The blocker is right here. These two go together. I'll explain that. And this is the blocker, which is right here. See right there? Okay, we got that. Come on down over here. And you got this big gear right here, which is 22. That's the pinion, high range gear. All right, so that's all your gears, clutches, collars, and parts. The only other thing they have you need to know is snap rings, and they are just all different. There's 2 of them alike, and the rest are all different. This end one right here, it's variable. It comes in 4 different sizes, 4 different thicknesses. You don't buy that until after your whole shaft is all put back together. Then you mic it or feel gauge it to see how big the gap is and how much you need. Because all of these gears may vary in length, a thousandths or so, and you need to have the right size when you put that back together. Then there's one right here, number 6. And there's actually another one which is identical to that. And that one is here. Those 2 are identical. Identical snap rings. This one right here, it's a different snap ring. It only goes in one spot. It's right there. Between the reverse collar and the low range gear, and holds that low range gear into place. Come over to the other side. After number 6, back over here, this is the end one. The end one is variable in size, 4 different thicknesses, all right? Just like the other one. Now, one other thing. There is, okay, we're going to go back to this one right here, number 8. This one is rounded, not flat, like a piece of coat hanger wire wrapped around. I'll show you where it goes on the shaft. All right, here's the shaft. And there's a snap ring that goes here, snap ring that goes here, and then this one right here, number 8. Can you see it? It's rounded, like a piece of coat hanger that's wrapped around. So that's the snap rings, all right? So this is going to make you a lot more familiar with all of these pieces and how they go together. They're actually going to go together just like that. All right, I'm going to pause it just for a second. I'm going to start a new video. We're going to examine each of these gears. I want to let you know why I'm replacing this gear. It looks good, you know? And this one. So I'll show you that. Here we go. Okay, the best way to actually, for me to get in really close and show you all of these and picking up each individual gear is to hold the camera. So I'm going to start back here with this high range gear. And this is the high range gear. And the gear is actually good. But down here on the end, let's see if you can see. I'm going to zoom in on it. See the end of these teeth? There you go. See how they chewed up? Some of them actually is broken a little bit. Well, this has got to mesh in so you can actually put it into high range gear. So, there you go. Stand up, you. There. See the chips on that? And you see how the ends are blunt? Really worn down. Now let's take a look at the new one. Okay. Here's the new one. We're going to zoom in on it. That's the differences. And the ends are in good shape. So that's why we're replacing that gear. All right. Drums. Okay. I'm going to pick up this drum. It's the same as that one. That one has the clutches in it. Look at the teeth. They're actually all worn down. From being meshed, from having worn Syncro clutches and grinding noises and stuff like that. Okay, let's take a look at the new one. This is the new one. Look at the end of the teeth. See how they pointed? Here's the old one. Worn to shit. All right. That's why we're placing the drums, both drums. Next is right here, which is the collar, high-low shifter right there, and the blocker, those two things. All right, let me pick these up and bring them over here. We'll take a look at them. All right, I'm gonna pull the blocker and the gear apart. Now, let's see if we can zoom in on this. There we go. They're actually worn down and worn in there. Yeah, you can see where they've been wearing down. That's what they look like. All right, the new gear is already assembled into the blocker. I'm not going to take it apart, so I'm just going to show you the teeth on it. See how they pointed and come to a point? The blocker is already put together. I'll explain that in a little while. And I'm going to show you how I did that. Look at those teeth. Look at these teeth. All right, so that's getting changed. The blocker. This is the blocker. Let's see what we got here. Can I hold that up with something? Right here. There we go. Take a look at this. See that worn in right there? There's a hole. There are 4 of them. A spring goes in there and a little ball bearing, 6mm size, real small ball bearing goes on the end. And it's your detent for your neutral position between your high-low gears. And it's worn down so much, it is worn all the way into the springs. Look at the other side of that. This side is not worn as much, but it is definitely worn. Okay? The new ones, it's totally different. I have a picture of the new one. I'm gonna post it here because it's already assembled. Okay, here goes the new blocker. Here comes the picture. All right. Okay, after a while, we're going to explain how we assemble the springs and ball bearings. Let's move on down here. Okay, this gear right here is the pinion low range. There it is, right here. This one did not have any chips on it that I could see. And this one's, they didn't come to a point. And the new ones didn't have a point. They were made like this gear right here, like on the high range. So overall, the gear is in good shape. I didn't see replacing it. Now, this will mesh into this blocker right here. And those two will go together. Next is this gear right here. And this collar slides on it back and forth, and that's for reverse gear. And right there, collar, reverse drum range, right there. So this one doesn't have any wear on it. So we're not replacing it. So we're going to put that down here on the good side. Next is this collar range shifter right here. That ring right there, collar range shifter. Now, this one is worn. You see how those teeth are worn right there? And that's from putting it into reverse gear. Now, take a look at the other side. They're brand new. They've never been used. So all we're going to do is take this one and turn it around. It slides on this collar like this. The collar goes inside. Put it in there, just like that. And when you want to put it into reverse, this collar, this slides over like this, and it'll slide onto that gear. The only thing is it only uses one side of this. This side was being used before, meshing with this gear, and that's what wore out these teeth here. These two wore out. Turn it around. We have a brand new side to mesh with this brand new gear. So we can put it into reverse, just like so. Okay, so that's the parts we're replacing. From there, we got new bearings, reverse collar, collar, low range drum, blocker, and range shifter synchronizer, drum, high gear, bearings. That's it. This is your high-low range shifter. It will fit on top of all of this when they come together as one piece, the two drums, the blocker, and all this with the clutches inside. This fits over all of that, and that's what shifts it from low range to high range. And that's the high-low shifter. And we're going to replace it with the updated version. And we have one right here. There it is. If you'll notice the difference, this is the difference right here. This is a used part, and a new one is $830 from John Deere. This is a used one, and it came from Worthington Tractor. The part number for this one is right here, 74749. That's the actual number for it. And I believe they make two. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I believe they make two. I believe one will go with the earlier model transmission and one goes with the later model. You'll have to check that out if you have one of the later model transmission. So I'm gonna move the old one out of the way. How much was the new one? Well, I got it for around $100 plus shipping and taxes. And it is in good shape. Luckily, it doesn't look all worn out and everything, because then I'd have to buy a new one. So if you can find a used one, and if it is in good shape, then that's what you can use. The only thing it's missing is right here. See that hole right there? Let me look at the old one right there. Okay. I'm about to fall off my chair. This goes into the cam. It's a roller that goes into the cam of the shifter, and it is pressed in there. So I don't know why they took it out of the used one. But anyway, I have to press it out, then put it into the new one. And that's what we're going to use for that one. Now, this new shifter, when you buy this new high-low shifter, you got to buy some extra parts. Okay? What are those parts? Right here. A bolt, 3/4 inch, 6 inch, grade 5 bolt. And this collar from John Deere. I believe that's the only place you can be able to find them. Anyway, this is a $70 collar. It will fit over the boat. I'm the one-handed cameraman. And it sits right like this. And it holds that collar down from coming up when you slide it back and forth. Now, where's this bolt going to go in the tractor? Let's take a look at the tractor. We'll move on over to it. We're going to have to uncover. Let's put the light on. Light's not plugged. We uncover it. There we go. Put that on the side. Come over to here. There we go. See this bolt hole? Right there? It's going to go right there. That's going to bolt the transmission to your bell housing. And it's going to hold that high-low range shifter in position. All right, let's see what else I forgot. Anything? Next, I'll be going to Lee's house because tomorrow's Saturday. And Lee is off, and he said he will help me. He has a press, and he's going to help me put all this on. And then we'll be able to put it back in the tractor. So I'm excited. Okay, now what I need to do is, like I promised, I'm going to show you this blocker right here and this gear. How did I get all this together? I'm going to show you, because John Deere makes a specialty tool, and it's a cone that slides over the shaft, will compress all 4 springs and ball bearings, and allows you to put this over it. That specialty cone from John Deere is $130. It's a specialty tool, and that specialty tool is a JD-4A. JD-4A. Unless you want to do it like I did, I ordered, instead of 4, I ordered 4 springs and 8 ball bearings. And I actually lost 4 of them and found one, so I ended up with an extra one. And after I MacGyvered my own system of putting it together, cost me a couple of bucks for extra ball bearings, and that was it. Yeah, I did forget one thing, of course. The clutch plates, we are replacing them. I didn't say that I'm replaced, but we are. And here's a new set of clutch plates. Alrighty. These come from Worthington. So we also have new clutches, and we're going to replace them also. We're definitely not putting it together with old ones, because there's absolutely no disc left on those. It's just metal to metal. That's it. Goodbye. Hey, something very important, and that's this synchronizer gear. It goes in that collar right there. This has a hole in the gear. It's an oil hole, and it is right there. That oil hole has to line up with the shaft. Has a hole, an oil hole in the shaft, and they need to line up. Oil will come out of here. It'll be like this, and that is, let's see, right up there. And this is going to go into the middle of here, and it's going to oil all of this stuff here. So the half moon key can fit in both sides, but you have to be careful not to do that. The half moon key, you put it into the shaft, and then you slide it over this end right here. The other end has to line up with the oil hole in the shaft. Now, this is the old blocker and the old thing, but basically I'm going to give you an idea how I assembled the springs and the ball bearings on it. First thing I did is put in all 4 springs. Got all 4 in there. Then I took this collar and I placed it in the middle. Now, I situated it to where you can actually, it fits really loose on there. So you can actually lift it up, tilt it, and so just so the other ones don't come out, okay? Let me fix it so you can see one of them. Let me zoom in a little bit, like that. And you lift it up, just like this. See, the other 3 are still in there, just like this. I'm lifting it. I got it to this point right here, and the spring was already in it. So all I do is put the ball bearing on the end of it. And I'm gonna show you in another video, I had a pair of scissors that pushed, it held the ball bearing in place, and I pushed it in, and then I pushed it back down. And once I got that down, I went all the way around to the opposite side, and I did it on the same thing on the other side, right here. Lifted just enough so the other 3 don't come out, and gradually lifted it, pushed that ball bearing in, put it down, and then I did the other 2. And also, you can actually put something underneath here to hold it up, just on each side. not on the back side, because that will tilt, it'll go down, but the two sides don't. So you can put some underneath there just to hold it up a little bit, so you can tilt it like this. And I have another short video too. So I'm gonna show you all that next. Okay, this is the blocker with the gear in the middle. There's 4 springs, 1, 2, 3, 4 in here, and 4 ball bearings. This is the old springs in this little bag right here. I'm not reusing them. I purchased new springs. These are 48 years old. So if you don't purchase the $130 tool from John Deere, you have to assemble them yourselves. And this is how I did it. I ordered 4 springs and 8 ball bearings because I knew I'd be losing some. And this is the part number A474-2R. So I ordered 8 of those, and I tried all kind of different ways, and I ended up just manhandling and getting them in there. And this is how I did it. I would lift them all the way to the very top, and then take one side and just lift it up till the spring came halfway over the edge. Then I put a little ball bearing there, and I took these scissors where it has 2 parts, and I would put the ball bearing right next to the where the spring is. It has a little lip on the springers right here, so it wouldn't pop up. And then I would start pushing on the ball bearing and lift on the blocker till it started, the ball bearing started going in. And once I got it in, I pushed it down. And once I got that side down, I turned it around and I went to the other side and started over. I would hold it up to the edge. You can even put something underneath the back side to hold it. And several times it popped off and lost all the ball bearings, and I had to start over. It took me a few tries till I got a system to where it would work. And I'd get to the other side and I would lift it up like this. I would lift it up, get the spring coming over the edge, put the ball bearing there, and get my little scissors and grab it and push it in and push it down. It took me a while to do it, but I ended up getting all 4 of them in there. And now it's ready to be pressed onto the main shaft, the top shaft, and the transmission. And that's how you do it.
Distant galaxies, the stars are flickering in and out of sight. In the dark the colors fade, every shape takes on a shade of the darkest kinds of